विहारे जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरिवराधारी जय गिरिवराधारी यशोदनन्दना व्रजनरञ्जना यशोदनन्दन व्रजनरञ्जन यमुनतीरा वनचारि मनतीरा वनचारि जय राधा माधवा जय कुञ्जविहारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुञ्जविहारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुञ्जविहारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा गिरिधरे श्री राधे जय राधा गिरिधरे श्री राधे जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रमन जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रमणि जय गौरानिताय श्री श्री गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय गौरानिताय श्री श्री गौरानिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल संकीर्तन महायज्ञ की जय श्रीमद् भागवत महाग्रंथ श्री गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल हरे कृष्ण please welcome to this session. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much. Mataji, thank you so much. Please forgive me if I do any mistakes and bless me so that I can speak the actual words of Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. So we start our session with reading Srila Prabhupada Leelamrit. I'll share the screen. Please bear with me. Is it visible, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji, it's all visible.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. So we are reading Prabhupada's Leelamrita, chapter 34, darling. So Jet Aid Parivrajikacharya, page number 963 in the book. And we are continuing. May 12th, 1971. In his quarters in Sydney, Prabhupada wrote the preface to the upcoming edition of Bhagavad Gita as it is. The Macmillan Company had now agreed to print the unabridged manuscript. The contract was signed. The book was being readied for printing. Only the preface remained to be written. Prabhupada wrote in his preface that although he was known for starting the Krishna consciousness movement in America, actually the original father of this movement is Lord Krishna himself, giving all credit for his own achievements to his spiritual master. Prabhupada said that only qualification he himself had was that he had tried to present Bhagavad Gita as it is without adulteration. Instead of satisfying his own personal material senses, a person, has to satisfy the senses of the Lord. That is the highest perfection of life. The Lord wants this and he demands it. One has to understand this central point of Bhagavad Gita. Our Krishna consciousness movement is teaching the whole world this central point. And because we are not polluting the theme of Bhagavad Gita as it is, anyone seriously interested in deriving benefit by studying the Bhagavad Gita must take help from the Krishna consciousness movement for practical understanding of Bhagavad Gita under the direct guidance of the Lord. We hope, therefore, the people will derive the greatest benefit by studying Bhagavad Gita as it is, as we have presented here. And if even one man becomes a pure devotee of the Lord, we shall consider our attempt a success. As Prabhupada explained in his preface, he was publishing the full Gita manuscript to establish the Krishna consciousness movement more soundly and progressively. He would do this by presenting transcendental literature like Bhagavad Gita, but he would also have to go, as Lord Chaitanya has said, to every town and village, either personally or through his agents, his disciples, and wherever he went, he would preach Bhagavad Gita to whoever would listen. Tomorrow, Prabhupada would leave Australia for a big Pandal festival in Calcutta, then on to Moscow, Paris, Los Angeles. Lord Krishna states in Bhagavad Gita that no servant is more dear to him than one who teaches Bhagavad Gita to devotees. And Prabhupada, in all his activities, whether writing a preface, lecturing to prostitutes and drug addicts, teaching a disciple to cook chapatis without burning them, or planning grand projects yet to come, was always teaching Bhagavad Gita and therefore was always the dearest servant of Lord Krishna. Prabhupada stood before the deities of Radha Gopinath with folded hands. After less than a week in Sydney, he was leaving. He knew that the devotees here were not up to the standard required for worshipping Radha Krishna, and he knew he was taking a risk, interesting their worship to neophyte disciples. Yet, as an empowered Acharya and as the representative of Lord Chaitanya, he had to implant Krishna consciousness anywhere it might take root. The world was in desperate need. If his disciples followed the process he had given them, chanting, hearing, observing regulative principles, he knew they would quickly become purified. He had given an analogy. Although in material life, a man must first become highly qualified lawyer before sitting on the judge's bench. In Krishna consciousness, a sincere devotee is first allowed to sit on bench to become a Brahmana, and later, by the mercy of holy name and the spiritual master, he becomes qualified. The devotees in Sydney, however, were particularly immature, and Prabhupada made extraordinary request of Radha Gopinath. Now, I am leaving you in the hands of the villages. I cannot take the responsibility. You please guide these boys and girls and give them intelligence to worship you very nicely. So, can you stop it here, Prabhupada?
Yes, Mataji, yes, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. So, Prabhupada is writing the Bhagavad Gita, and also he is mentioning that the central point of Bhagavad Gita is pleasing Krishna, not our senses. It is very, very relevant to our today's topic also. We are all reading from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, how we have to control the senses. And today's verse is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, the creative impetus, and chapter 14, the forest life of enjoyment, and verses 21 and 22. I'm going to share the verses. Please bear with me. Is it visible, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji. 22 is visible.
22, 21. So actually there is no meter for this. I just read. कदाचित् भग्नमानदंष्टो दुर्जनदण्डसुखैः अलब्धनिद्रसनो व्यथितहृदयेन नु क्षीयमान विजनो अन्धकूपे अन्धवत् पतति. So sorry. नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. कदाचित् भग्नमानदंष्टो दुर्जनदण्डसुखैः अलब्धनिद्रक्षणो व्यथित हृदयेनानुक्षीयमान विजनो अन्धकूपे अन्धवतात् पतति. कदाचित् भग्नमानदंष्टो दुर्जनदण्डसुखैर् अलब्धनिद्रक्षणो व्यथित हृदयेनानुक्षीयमानान् विजनो विज्ञानोऽन्धकूपे अन्धवतात् पतति. Anybody would like to read?
Hare Krishna, Ajay Dandavat Pranam. Can I read it now?
Yes, Prabhuji, please.
कदाचिद् भग्नमानो द्रष्टो दुर्जन द्वन्द्व सुखैर् अलब्ध निद्राक्षणो व्यथितो हृदयानुक्ष्यमानो विज्ञानो अन्धकूपे अन्धवत् पतति. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
হরে কৃষ্ণ মাতাজি, ধন্যবাদ প্রণাম।
Hare Krishna, Mataji, please.
কদাচিৎ ভগ্নমান দংষ্ট্র দুর্জন দ্বন্দ্ব সুকৈর অলব্ধ নিদ্রাক্ষণ ব্যথিত হৃদয়ে নানুক্ষীয়মান বিজ্ঞান অন্ধকূপে অন্ধবৎ পততি। হরে কৃষ্ণ।
Thank you, Mataji. So anybody would like to? So anybody would like to read synonyms?
হরে কৃষ্ণ মাতাজি।
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Kadachit sometimes bhagnomana damstra, whose teeth of pride are broken, durjana danda sukhui, by the envious activities of evil men, who are compared to a kind of serpent. Alobdho nidrakshana, who does not get an opportunity to sleep. Bathita hridayena, by a disturbed mind. Onukshiyamana, gradually being decreased. Vijnanaha, whose real consciousness. Andhakupe, in a blind well. Andhavat, like illusion. Patati, he falls down. Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you.
Thank you so much. Anybody would like to read translation?
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam. Can I read it?
Yes, Prabhuji, please.
In the forest of material world, the conditioned soul is sometimes bitten by envious enemies, which are compared to serpents and other creatures. Through the tricks of the enemy, the conditioned soul falls from his prestigious position. Being anxious, he cannot even sleep properly. He thus becomes more and more unhappy, and he gradually loses his intelligence and consciousness. In that state, he becomes almost perpetually like a blind man who has fallen into the dark well of ignorance. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Now we are going to verse number 22. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Karihi smachit kama madhulavan vichinvan yada paradara paradravyani avarundanam rajna swamibirva nihatat patati apare niryaye. Okay. Anybody would like to read?
Hare Krishna, Mataji, I am reading.
Yes, Prabhuji, please.
कर्हिष्मचेत् कामो मुदुलवान् विचिन्नान् यदा परद्वारो परद्रव्यान् अवरुद्धानि राज्ञाशामिभिर्वा निहतः Patatta pare niraye. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavata Pranam.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Korhi sma chitkam modulavan vichinyan yada parodaro parodrovyani avarundhano ragya swami bhirvani hataha patatya pare niraye. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Hare
Did
Krishna.
anybody-
Can you read
Yes,
synonyms, please?
yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji, please carry on.
It turns off.
Hare Krishna. Would anybody like to read synonyms?
Hare Krishna Mataji, can I please read?
Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
Thank you. Karhi smachit, sometimes. Kama madhu lavan, little drops of honey like sense gratification. Vichin one, searching after. Yada, when. Paradara, another's wife or a woman other than his own wife. Paradravyani, another's money and possessions. Avarundhanaha, taking as his own property. Ragnya, by the government. Swami Bhiva, or by the husband or relatives of the woman. Nihataha, severely beaten. Patati, he falls down. Apare, into unlimitedly. Niraye, hellish conditions of life. The government's prison for criminal activities like rape, kidnapping, or theft of others' property. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. So anybody would like to read translation purport? Please welcome.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
The conditioned soul is sometimes attracted to the little happiness derived from sense gratification. Thus, he has illicit sex or steals another's property. At such a time, he may be arrested by the government or chastised by the woman's husband or protector. Thus, simply for a little material satisfaction, he falls into a hellish condition and is put into jail for rape, kidnapping, theft, and so forth. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Patpat?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I am reading it.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Mataji, please.
Material life is such that due to indulgence in illicit sex, gambling, intoxication, and meditating, the conditioned soul is always in a dangerous condition. Meditating and intoxication excite the senses more and more, and the conditioned soul falls victim to women. In order to keep women, money is required, and to acquire money, one begs, borrows, and steals. Indeed, he commits abominable acts that cause him to suffer both in this life and in next. Consequently, illicit sex must be stopped by those who are spiritually inclined or who are in the path of spiritual realization. Many devotees fall down due to illicit sex. They may steal money, even fall down from the highly honored, renounced order. Then, for a livelihood, they accept menial services and become beggars. It is therefore said in the Shastras, Yan Maithunadi Grihamedi Shukham Hitucha. Materialism is based on sex, whether illicit or illicit. Sex is full of dangers even for those who are addicted to household life. Whether one has a license for sex or not, there is great trouble. Bohu dukho bhak. After one indulges in sex, many volumes of miseries ensue. One suffers more and more in material life. A miserly person cannot properly utilize the wealth he has, and similarly, a materialistic person misuses the human form. Instead of using it for spiritual emancipation, he uses the body for sense gratification. Therefore, he is called a miser. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. So, Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiyat नष्टप्रायसु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिके मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यचन्द्रेश्वरं हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So I'll read the translation one more time. The conditioned soul is sometimes attracted to the little happiness derived from sense gratification. Thus, he has illicit sex or steals another's property. At such a time, he may be arrested by government or chastised by the woman's husband or protector. Thus, simply for a little material satisfaction, he falls into the hellish condition and he is put into jail for rape, kidnapping, theft, or so forth. So, I will stop it here. So this chapter 14 and the previous chapters are so informative. So this chapter, before this chapter, the episode starts when King Rahuguna chastises Jadabharat. That time, Jadabharat was saying that this body doesn't suffer anything. The body suffers, soul doesn't get any sufferings. Then King Rahuguna got confused. Why it doesn't get any confused? The soul is always associated with body, so it sometimes it get affected like that. So after that, in order to mitigate his doubts, confusions, he gives so many information, so much of information about so many things of how the material things happen, material sense gratification happens in the form of allegory. So here, King Bharat in the form of Jada Bharata, in the form of a Brahmana body, so highly self-realized body, he is speaking to King Rahuguna all philosophical points. That time, as a king, he is in the mode of passion and ignorance. He is not able to understand these philosophical points as it is. And also he requested Jadabharat, please explain me. So I was little confused about this. Then he started explaining what is that allegory, what is that comparison, the material life, how it is compared with forest life. When a conditioned soul enter into this material existence and experiences so many sufferings, sometimes little happiness, and it experiences through his senses so many things, sometimes happy, sometimes sad. In the same way, when the business person, mercantile person, when enters into the forest to get some goods for his livelihood, he has to go through so many dangers. The main dangers in the forest are animals, and so many, some creepers, and the little worms, insects, and some snakes. So many things disturb. He cannot get whatever he wants, whatever he gets from the forest. So he wants to get some happiness out of the forest, but he is unable to get that happiness because of these sufferings. In the same way, conditioned soul, he just wanted to come here to enjoy. Lord has created this, the small material world, and said to Jiva, go and enjoy up to your extent. But he wants to enjoy all the times, but he cannot enjoy it. And in this verse also, in the 21st verse also, the Prabhupada is saying that conditioned soul, so he is disturbed by, bitten by so many envious people, just like the businessman in the forest was attacked by so many enemies like animals, so many insects, snakes, like that. So they are always bitten by envious people, and their prestigious position sometimes fall down because of their envy. They cheat because they cheat. They want always to be top. If someone is in the top position, somehow by hook or crook, they want to make them fall down that position. So when they fall down from that position, what the jiva, he thinks, so I am loser, I can't do anything. So in this unhappy continuous, this unhappy loses intelligence. Then finally come to the well of darkness, ignorance. And again, so he got some designs, determined to do some things and to attain at any cost, I have to attain that position. He tricks the other people again. In the same way, this play going on with each other. They play tricks on each other and they falling down and they lose their intelligence and they come to the well of ignorance. That is the about in the 21st. In the 22nd, Prabhupada is saying that because of small happiness, in order to attain that happiness, they do lots of some abominable things which cannot be recommended actually. So they do abominable things to get that little satisfaction. Sometimes they steal, sometimes they beg, sometimes they undergo illicit sex. Like this, they undergo so many problems. Sometimes they are arrested, sometimes they are chastised by protector or husband of that woman. So these are all happening. So in order to understand this, so we have to understand the 5 things. So Prabhupada explained almost 5, 6 things in this. I'll start the session with why we are suffering and why we want to be happy all the times. And also we will discuss what are the dangers of religious principles. So Prabhupada is talking about some regulative principles. So what are the dangers of if you are not following regulative principles, and it is related to the 4 pillars of dharma. We'll discuss about that also. And we also discuss about what is measure. Prabhupada explaining what is the definition for measure. And the last thing we also discuss about what is the real wealth, what is the real duty, real wealth of the conditioned soul, and what is the material wealth and real wealth. So these are the topics we are going to cover today. And first of all, the question, why we are suffering in this material world? I think many of you know the answer. Anybody would like to share why we are suffering? What is the main reason we are suffering here?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
I think it's because we consider us being physical bodies firsthand.
Yes,
So
we are on bodily
even if
platform.
we keep talking that, I mean, I speak for myself, even when I talk that I'm not the body, I'm the soul, I'm still too much attached to my body and senses gratification. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Yeah, thank you, Mataji. So we are on the bodily platform. Any other ideas?
Our desires, material desires.
Yes, we are having disease. That's why we have taken birth and we are suffering. Any other points? Thank you, Mataji. Okay. So Mataji was saying that we are on the bodily platform, and also other Mataji was saying that we are with the desires. So these are the reasons, but the actual reason is we got disconnected from the Lord. So we are actual parts and parcels of. So we are thinking we can exist separately without Lord. That's why we want to be Lord, like a Lord. We want to enjoy without help of the Lord. So we got disconnected. In the Katha Upanishad also says there are 2 birds in the heart. One bird is always busy, doing things. The other bird always watching the other bird who is very busy. So the bird which is watching the busy bird and thinking when this bird is going to see me, when that bird sees me, come to me, all the sufferings of that bird will go away. But that bird is always busy. So that means we are disconnected from the Lord. We are not, that's why we are not happy. We want to be. So Prabhupada also given the example, if you pour the water to the roots, all the parts of the plant will nourish. And if you feed the stomach, so fingers should help. So fingers cannot exist separately. So it is a part of body. If you feed stomach, all your body parts will be nourished. In the same way, if you make happy to the Krishna, if you connect with the Krishna, so all your sufferings will go away. He will take care. And just like always we hear one story, one boy from the rich man's boy, he lost his father, and one person, he takes that boy and gives toys, gives so many food, so many facilities, clothes, nice bed, nice food, but still that boy cries. So he doesn't know why that boy is crying. I'm giving so many things, so many facilities, so many luxuries, chocolates to eat, so many things, but this boy is still crying. So he did, when that person finds his real father and give that boy to the real father, then boy stops crying. So now that boy is so happy. In that way, we are suffering, we are always happy, even though so many luxuries here, so many facilities here, we are enjoying, still at the corner of our heart we are unhappy. We are feeling so many sufferings because we lost our father, real father. When that person gives that boy to the real father, that boy stops crying. That means he sees the father, is so happy with the father. So that's how we lost connection. And the another question I want to ask, why we want to be happy all the times? Anybody would like to share any
Yeah.
points?
Mataji, it is the nature of the soul because it is a part of the Lord. So
Yes.
Anandamaya part. So the Lord is always perpetually happy. So as a part of that Lord, the spirit soul also wants to remain happy. And in fact, it is always happy at the same time.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you so much. So we are parts and parcels of the Lord. Mamaivam so jivalok, Lord says in Bhagavad Gita. So you're all parts and parcels of me. So Lord is a Sachidananda Vigraha. He is the fountainhead of all the happiness. So we just came here to enjoy separately from the Lord. But it is not possible. Just like we discussed, the fingers cannot live separately. In the same way, so we have to be always connected with the Lord, then we feel so happy. So whatever happy we are experiencing this material world, that is flickering happy. Sometimes if you don't want to, if you are not happy with the food what you are eating, you change food. So still you are unhappy, you are not happy. So after that, sometimes you change another food, like clothes. If you don't like clothes, you change clothes. If you don't like friends, you change friends also. If you don't like a job, you change. In the same way, if you are not having the faith, if you are not happy with one God, you change the God also. And also the religion, sometimes if you are not happy with the one religion, you change the other religion. In the same way, we are changing, we are looking so many ways how to be happy in this dukhale masasvatam, in this material world. Material world is always dukhale. This is the wrong place we came to see the happiness actually. So just like if you want to buy a book, if you go to the cloth shop, you cannot buy a book there. There we get clothes. The same way, this is not the place for happiness, but still we are searching for it. And we are working so hard. People, they work so hard, and whole month they work. So in these foreign countries, they work for whole week to get that salary so that we can enjoy. So after that, after one day, so all this money go. So again, they have to work hard, where they are getting happiness. But to get that little satisfaction, little happy, to get that little money at the end of week, they work so hard. So the countries like India, to work, they have to travel long way so many kilometers. They travel in the train. They get tired. Sometimes they don't get the seat also to sit. So they just go, and they by the time they come back to home, it's almost they're tired. They don't have a time to do bhakti also, to sadhana. No spiritual enlightenment, always busy for the sense gratification. And they feel that little happiness is real happiness. So when they get the salary, they feel so happy. I can do so many things, so many things. Just like in the Bhagavatam, it explained that the camel in the desert, it lives, it eats leaves in the forest along with the thorns. When it is eating leaves, it oozes blood. It mixes the thorns, leaves, and with the blood. It enjoys it. Is so tasty. To get that little happiness, it is working so hard. It is cutting his jaws, mouth, all the parts of the mouth, and enjoying that little happiness, thinking that this is real happiness. So this is the wrong place to get the real happiness, but people are working so hard for getting that happiness. But so Prabhupada always gives one example. When the child is small, it crawls and finds something, puts that whatever food, whatever it is, puts in her mouth and enjoys, and she feels happy. When she grows big, she gives that happiness, she shares that happiness to his father and mother. The same food she puts in the father and mother's mouth. That means she's sharing that happiness, she's extending that happiness to mother and father. After some time, she shares her happiness to the family members. The same way, when she grows and grows, the same happiness she wants to share with society. Still, she is finding happiness. Even though she is sharing, she is getting so much happiness from the family, from the relatives, from the society. Sometimes she extends the same happiness to the nation also, the different countries also, for whole globe also. Still she feels alone. I'm not happy. In the inner course of the heart, we feel we are not happy. Why that the happiness is not happening? Because even though that little child is extending her happiness, she's not getting happiness. Prabhupada says, so until it reaches the lotus feet of the Lord, we cannot feel complete happiness. So that is the reason we are suffering, and we are hankering for the material happiness, but we are not getting the real happiness. So these are all temporary happiness. So we have to find the ways how to find the real happiness, permanent happiness, which stays forever. So I cannot, I don't want to change from here to there, from one country to other to get the happiness. Wherever you are, wherever you are situated, there you get permanent happiness without any endeavors, by taking up the process of Bhakti Yoga. So this is about, and in the Prabhupada in the purport also explaining the regulative principles. There are 4 regulative principles. These are very, very important for our spiritual advancement. So anybody would like to share what are the 4 regulative principles? I know everybody knows these points.
But Krishna, these are the simple things. I mean, no meat eating, no illicit sex, no intoxication, and what is the other one? No meat eating, no illicit sex. Yeah.
No alcohol, no gambling, and
No gambling, yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So these are irreligious principle. So eating meat and drinking alcohol, cheating others, illicit sex, these are irreligious principles. So society with these irreligious principles cannot advance actually. So individual soul cannot advance, whole society will not advance when you are with these religious principles. So that's why Prabhupada is saying that these are very dangerous. If you are not following four regulative principles, actually what happens, what is the danger? Biggest danger is fall into the victim of 3 W's. What are the 3 W's? They fall into the victim of 3 W's. What are they? 3 W's are women, wealth, and wine. They fall into the victim of 3 W's. So these they addicted to these 3. If it is not, if they are not getting, they want to do anything to attain that. If they want to go to one woman, they don't have money, so they beg. They steal sometimes. So they to get the money to enjoy with the woman. So these are the things. In order to attain their positions, in order to attain their name, fame, in order to enjoy men, in order to buy wine, so many things happen. They need money. So they do so many abominable things. Again, they fall into the sinful actions. Why these are not rejected in our scriptures? Why these religious principles are not recommended? Because they are condemned in the 4 pillars of dharma. So meat eating is it's against daya. The 4 pillars of dharma are satyam, saujam, daya, tapaha. So if you are killing the animals for your sense enjoyment, what is happening? You are not showing daya. There is no cleanliness everywhere, impure things with blood. So first of all, you don't have a right to kill another animals. So you have to be equal with all the living entities. Suhridam sarva bhutanam. So compassion on other living entities. So that's why the pillar of dharma is falling down. So if you are following the illicit sex, there is no austerity, there is no purity. That's how it is condemned, that pillar, that should be condemned. And otherwise, the truthfulness, the other pillar is truthfulness. If you are cheating for your enjoyment, you do business with others, you play gambling with others, it's a way of cheating others. There is no truthfulness. If you are drinking, if you are taking alcohol, there is no truthfulness. So these things, these 4 pillars of dharma cannot be maintained if you are adopting the 4 religious principles. That's why Prabhupada always recommend 4 regulative principles if you want to advance. Even before we get initiation, the spiritual master asks everyone, so what are the 4 regulative principles? That means we have to follow throughout our life without fail. These 4 regulative principles are very, 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 very important. So these are the disturbances, distractions, obstacles for our spiritual path. So that is the point Prabhupada is highlighting this here. Dangers of religious principles, how they are related to 4 pillars of dharma. And also the whole world is rotating on the principle of attraction between male and woman. Even Rishabhadev in the 5th canto, 5th chapter, 8th verse, Pumsa Sriya Metanu Bhava Metam. So he says that the principle of attraction between male and female, so it is spoiling everyone. It is there everywhere. Because of that attraction, people are becoming more and more sinful, and they are doing abominable things. They are not upgrading to the divine position. So tapodivyam. So attaining the divine position of devotional service, and they are misusing the human form of life, just like hogs and dogs, for their sense enjoyment. They are not using that senses for the higher purpose, for attaining the divine position of devotional service. That's why it should be condemned. And the Prahlad Maharaj in the 7th canto, 9th chapter, 45 verse also says. So Prabhupada also used same verse in the purport also. En maituni grameti sukam tucham. So here, the sex life is compared with the itching two hands, rubbing two hands to tolerate, to get rid of the itching. And this is very, very tucham. Tucham means very little, very low actually. Because they don't have a higher taste. Shya vinivartante niraharasya dehanam rasavajjam rasopavajjam param drushta nivartate. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. So if you take up the higher taste, higher devotional service, higher taste, so automatically all your lower propensities, lower things will go away. So these 4 regulative principles automatically will go if you take up the process of devotional service, Bhakti Yoga. So it is, Prahlad Maharaj also says, it is very, very, that happiness derived from the sex life, it is very, very tucham, very, very low compared to the happiness attained by the devotional practices. And also in 3rd chapter, 39th verse of Bhagavad Gita says also, Maitunya Agara, if you are not abiding the laws of the material world, the jiva, it is as a human form of, so whatever deha it takes, it is not following the rules of that deha. So for example, jiva taken the form of human being. So there are some rules and regulations for the human being. So they cannot kill the other animals for sense enjoyment, but they are doing. They cannot do the illicit sex and no gambling, but they are following all these. They are living with these religious principles only. They are not having higher education, higher knowledge. So whoever not abiding these rules, the next life, they will be shackles by the sex life. The Maitunya Agara means shackles of sex life. Whoever not following these regulative principles, who are following the religious principle, next life, they will be shackled by sex life. That's why when the attraction go and go and go on, so it will not be end, never gets satisfied, that attraction. Because of that attraction is not satisfied, they take birth again and again. It make you in the bondage actually. So that's why you are always taking birth and death. You will be in the cycle of birth and death all the times and suffering a lot. When you taken birth, so there are so many sufferings, Adi Bhautika, Adhyatmika, Adi Daivika kleshas, so many kleshas. So klesha, sufferings from the other living entities, sufferings from mind and body, suffering from the calamities like earthquake, cyclone, like this. So many sufferings you have to go through because you have taken birth. Why you have taken birth? Because of your desires. Why you have desires? Your desires in the previous birth is not satisfied. You are attracted with these 4 religious principles. It is not satisfying you. So that's why you have to come out of that zone and take up the bhakti process. When you take up the higher taste of devotional service, your regulative principles will be established in you. And Prabhupada also explaining what is the meaning of the miser. So there are so many things to explain about the miser in terms of spiritual advancement. So actually, miser in the Prabhupada in this purport is saying that who is not utilizing his wealth properly. And we will discuss what is that wealth. So what are that wealth? What is that senses? They are not utilizing properly. And in the 11th canto, 19th chapter, 40 to 45 verses, Lord Krishna says to Uddhava, says, Kripanahi Ajita Indriya. So the measures are they cannot control their senses. So they always victim of their senses. They follow, they enjoy their senses. Whatever they see, whatever they hear, whatever they eat, whatever they touch, they want to experience. They cannot control their senses. That is very important aspect in the advancement of spiritual journey. So that they cannot control. That's why they are measures. So these are also measures, also materialistic persons. They don't know how to utilize their senses in the service of Lord, but they always use their senses in their satisfaction, in the gratify his own senses. And also Bhagavad Gita 2.49, Krishna also says, Kripana palahetuvaha. Kripana, miser person, is the person who eats his own fruits of the actions. So always, that means he is in the karma yoga. So he does fruitive activities to satisfy his senses. They worship different demigods and they are after their senses and they are with the desires. They always anxiety to fulfill their desires. They at the end, they cannot get happiness. And now we compare the materialistic happiness and materialistic wealth and what is the real wealth of the devotees. In the real wealth, if you see uh, the real wealth of the devotee, when we are using how much amount of spiritual advancement you are going, that is the real wealth of a conditioned soul. How much advancing, how much time you are spending for your spiritual journey, that is the real wealth. How much engaging, how you are engaging your senses properly in the service of love, that is the real wealth. How much amount of love and affection you are giving to Lord and to his devotees, that is the real wealth of the devotee. So he is not miser, he is a broad-minded, he is so generous. So he is not using his senses for his satisfaction. So he is using his senses in the service of Lord and service of Lord's pure devotees. And how much he is advancing the spiritual journey, that is also his real, that is accountable. So that is, we can see this devotee is advancing, that means that is his real wealth. He carries, when he leaves the body also, he carries that real wealth. So wherever he goes, that is the only wealth which he is having. And amount of devotional service he is performing to his Lord and pure devotees. So this is the real wealth. So real wealth is thing, but the amount of devotional service you are rendering to Lord and Lord's devotees, and amount of love and affection showing towards Lord and devotees, amount of spiritual advancement you are having, that is the real wealth. This is just opposite to the miser. Miser is a materialistic person where he thinks about amount of property he owns, amount of beauty he owns, he possesses, amount of name, fame he collects. So these are the material assets for the materialistic person, miser. How much fame, amount of fame, name I collected, how much property I have, how much beauty I have. That's why so, Srimati Kunti Maharani, she says in Kunti prayers, the first canto, 8th chapter and 26th verse, she says that Janmaiswarya Srutasribir Edamana Madapuman Naiba Havati Patumva Pam Akinchana Gochara. So once they are with these qualities, what are the 4 qualities? Janma. So greatest rich Janma, that means they have taken birth in the rich aristocratic families. Janma, Aishwarya, opulence. Sruta, Sri. Sruta means education. Sri means beauty. So Janma, opulence, beauty, education. So when they are exhaust with these 4, Why we have to exist? Because of these four, we are getting entangled. So we cannot understand the higher taste. We cannot go to the Lord with these four qualities. That's why we have to give up these qualities. Then only we can see Lord. You cannot appear before them when they are these with four qualities: Janma, Aishwarya, education, and beauty. So these are obstacles in the spiritual advancement. And also in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says that 7.15, Namam Dirkshunomona Prapadyante Naradama Maya Prahatajnana Asrim Bhavam Asritaha. So who is with foolish, with the mode of ignorance. So they are the lowest of mankind. So like a demons. So whose knowledge is stolen by illusion. Maya prahuta jnana. This knowledge is stolen. Asrim bhavam. So that the demonic nature. These four kinds of people, those who are in the mode of ignorance, completely in the mode of ignorance, and the lowest of mankind. So the lowest of mankind always kill animals. They want to enjoy themselves. They enjoy hurting others. They enjoy when others are in the dukkha. So that's why they cannot see the Lord. So Kunti Maharani also saying that these four qualities are like obstacles for spiritual advancement. We have to exhaust, we have to give up. So when you are in the moha, delusion, when you are covered by Maya, cannot see the Lord. So Lord is a fountainhead of happiness. When you give all these religious principles, all these qualities which are connected to the material world, sense enjoyment, if you give up all these, so your life is susukam kartuma avyayam. So you feel joyfulness. You can do the services for the Lord with joy. So because your happiness is there at the lotus feet of Lord. Your happiness, the searching of happiness will end when you take up the bhakti yoga. That's why Kunti Maharani again says in the same chapter, first canto, 8th chapter, 42 verse, Faime Ananya Visaya, Matir Madhupate Asakrat. That means, so please, my mind get attracted to your lotus feet, just like a madhu, that means bumblebee, the honeybee gets nectar from the flower, just like it goes to get the nectar from the flower. The same way, let my mind come toward Ratim Udvata Adda Gangovegam Udanvati, just like a rivers flow into the ocean without disturbance. Just like a Ganges flows into the ocean without any disturbance. The same way, my mind will flow into your lotus feet without any disturbance. To get that nectar, just like a bumblebee goes to the flower without any disturbance. So your lotus feet like a honey. So I'm like a bumblebee. So without disturbance, I can reach your lotus feet. Paime Ananya Vijaya, please let my mind go away from these material vishya. Vishya means subjects of the material life. There are so many subjects. Brahmedis, they are involved in so many subject matters other than bhakti. So many politics, sports, clothes, jewelry, politics. There are so many things. So Kunti Maharani is praying that. So let my mind be away from all these distractions and focus on your lotus feet. So just like the Krishna consciousness activities is like it's like a quenching our thirst. It's like a water. So in the before also we discussed our happiness is not going. If that job is not happy, we are changing things. So we are after flickering happiness. So even though you take food, so after some time it takes you want it more. You are not happy. So you are unhappy for hungry. You have to take it. Like this, your happiness changing. But Prabhupada made ISKCON. It's a medium platform of so many activities. It's like a water. It quenches our thirst. It quenches our hunger. So we have to think, this is the takeaway point. So why we are not happy? What makes us thirst quench? What makes our hunger mitigate? What is the real hope I have to get? So these are some exercises for us to meditate on these points. So whenever you take bhakti, whenever you associate with the pure devotees, whenever you are in the Navavidha bhakti, now take the process of chanting, when you are connected to the Prabhupada books, when you are connected to the temple and occupying with so many services. So these activities in Krishna consciousness platform is like a water. It's like a source of food. It's a source of all our happiness, fountainhead of all the happiness. So when we attracted to this happiness, all our lower propensities like for religious principles will go away. So it's like a water, it's like a river. It quenches Krishna consciousness, quenches our thirst, and we get permanent happiness. All our temporary happiness will go, and we'll get permanent happiness in Krishna consciousness activities. So what is that? That's what we have to think all the times. We have to understand what is our real thirst. What is our real? So we are, so just like before also Mataji said, we are on bodily platform. We have to come out of that zone. So we are feeding body all the times. We have to understand what soul needs, how we can nourish the soul, how we can advance in the spiritual journey, how we can get that susukam, the real happiness, how we get it, how all our religious uh, principles and how all our sufferings will mitigate. So when you start serving your soul, and we have to take care of nourishment of soul, soul needs only devotional service of the Lord. Soul needs to go back to the Lord's feet of the Lord. So it is extending his happiness until it reaches the lotus feet of Lord. Then it feels finally happy, joyful. So Krishna conscious activities are very joyful. So that's what we have to understand. What is our real thirst? What is our real goal? So that is the real wealth. So have to be come out of the zone of miserly thinking, and come to the level of broad thinking, like a person who has a real wealth, how much amount of love he is giving, how much amount of spiritual advancement, how much amount of loving devotion service he is doing. So that is the transition from miser level to broad person. So Duratmas and Mahatma level. So Mahatmas, they know how to gratify the senses of the Lord instead of gratifying their senses. They use all their wealth, all these energies like senses, engagement of senses in the service of Lord. They know very well. And following the Vaishnavas, following the footprints of the Acharyas, following the instructions of the Guru, and Srila Prabhupada books. So these are the processes we have to take up to mitigate our hunger and thirst, material hunger and material thirst. So I just want to conclude by saying this. Anything you can add, any points suitable for that, any additions or anything, please go ahead. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Mataji Dandot Pranam. Thank you very much for the very nice class, elaborately explaining all the points inherent in this verse from different angles, and ultimately what is the reason of our unhappiness and how we can become happy. And in this regard, I just remember that one sloka from Bhagavad Gita is coming to my mind. It is in chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, I think the verse 66, yes. Nasti buddhi rayuktasya no chayuktasya bhavana no cha bhavayato shanti ashantasya kuto shukam. One, I mean, the happiness, the core things of happiness is, if one is not connected to the Lord, he cannot have a steady intelligence. I mean, intelligence relating to the God. Without transcendental intelligence, one cannot have steady mind. And without a steady mind, one cannot have peace. And without peace, how can there be happiness? So in other words, I mean, it leads to the same thing you have explained very nicely, that unless we are connected to the Lord, I mean, the way whatever way we try, it will only baffles us. It will never give us happiness. And the origin, and Krishna is the origin of all happiness. And so he's a Rasamrita Sindhu. He's the ocean of bliss. So unless we connect with him, and we cannot be happy. And it is a false thinking that we will be happy independently by our own effort. Whatever way we try, we will be baffled. And that is the ultimate fact. That is this verses. I mean, the whole chapter is trying to say that in the material world, whatever way we try, we will be baffled in our effort unless we are connected to the Lord. And we have very nicely explained this from various angles, and how we can be happy, what is the cause of our unhappiness. So thank you very much for the nice class. Hare Krishna. That is my realization.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Anybody would like to add any points?
So it appears, Mataji, there's no other person to make any comments. So you can conclude with us. Thank you very much once again for your very nice class. Pancha kalpatarupasya vipasindhupe vaja patinanam pavanebhyo vishnuvebhyo namo namo Ananta Koti Vaishnav Bindu ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His dear Savitri Mataji ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so
All
much.
glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.